This is News Talk 980 CKNW.
Time now for the midweek Money Talk report. There's new real estate numbers just out for the month of October, and I think they're frightening a few people. Plus, there's new things to note about Finance Minister Bill Morneau's economic update yesterday. Everyone is shedding a tear.
Wasn't that a doozy? We can't leave the week without talking about the financial implications of Tuesday's U.S. presidential election. Oh, thank God it's almost over. We will be covering this in full on the big night. Let's bring in Michael Campbell, host of Canada's top-rated financial show, Money Talks. And Michael, let's start with the latest real estate numbers. What's going on?
Well, I mean, we had that horrible August, a horrible September, and now we can add a horrible October to that list. I mean, sort of the headline is going to be sales down 38% compared to the previous October. And that, by the way, is despite a big push in the weekend. A lot of sales closed this past weekend, and the sales were still off dramatically. Still off even from September, which was bad, about 1%. But I'm looking still at April as being the peak, and that's what I come back to. And, just think about this. Since April, Richmond single-family homes are down. The price is down 21% since April, and the sales are down about 70%. So I still say, we always look to the previous year, but we have to remember that April was the peak.
Mm-hmm. Do you think these new mortgage rules and the foreign buyers tax are playing a big part here?
They certainly have, I think, in the last 3 months with the foreign buyers tax, the August, September numbers, and now we've got the October numbers. And remember, those new mortgage rules removed a big chunk of buyers who would now not be eligible under the current rules, at least at these prices. It's going to be very tough for them to get in. I think the thing that jumped out at me, though, was that October sales are 15% below the 10-year October sales average. So we can skip the strong years, the weak years, whatever it is, but still 15%, I think that's significant.
So many people are always sitting on the fence, kind of hoping the bubble will burst so they can jump in. But it looks like the sales are dropping a lot faster than the prices. Yeah,
you're absolutely right. And that's not unusual. I mean, it usually takes sellers, a few months to sort of realize if I want to sell this property, I got to lower the price. But there's something else that's here that does not play well for people hoping for prices to go down, and that is we also saw the number of listings drop. Mm-hmm. In other words, the supply's down, which will help keep those prices higher. I think we're down 4.5% total listings since last October, 2.5% just from a month ago in September. So that's playing a real key thing there. I mean, single detached sales are down, 54%, but 54% compared to a year ago. But listen to this, prices are still up 25%, so there's a lot of work to be done. So again, that low listings number is not good news for those wanting to see the prices, drop a little bit, although they are certainly off since last April.
Let's switch now to the overall economic outlook here. Yesterday, the finance minister stood up in the House of Commons and, talked. And, it says here to ask you what jumped out at you, but what jumped out at me? Pretty much everything that fell out of his mouth.
There you go. No, you're right. I mean, it's interesting. The changes are amazing when you look at budget projection, then you get another update and another update. We all know that the norm has been to, again, revise downward the economic growth numbers, and that has implications. What I was kind of surprised at, though, is he's looking out 5 years. He's still got growth, and I think he's being realistic, by the way, but we can't even get to mediocre. I mean, we still got the growth hovering just under that 2% mark. By the way, on a per capita basis, we're only going to outdo Italy. We're going to be behind Germany, the UK, the U.S., Japan, and France. My God, France! I can't stand that. The other one, though, is that our deficits are continuing to rise. I mean, they're so much higher than the campaign promise. But even at the budget in March to yesterday's update, we're now looking at about $115 billion over the next 5 years. And so, we got to keep an eye on it. I still think not this government. It proves very quickly that governments are not in control of the economy. That's just something that opposition parties say. And being in opposition is a heck of a lot more fun than being in government, as the Liberals are finding out already. Again, we have to take a very serious look at, are we encouraging capital to come here? I know the federal government says we want foreign capital to come here, but really, then we turn around and say we don't want them to buy our real estate. I'm just saying we're not on the same page in a lot of these policies.
No kidding. Okay, 6 days until the American election. Thank God, because I mean, it's just ripping the U.S. apart, and it's way too fractious here in Canada, too. I'm getting sick of it, but it's getting so close. It's a nail biter. Good Lord, Donald Trump might actually win. What do you think the impact's going to be on the various investment markets?
Well, I'm glad you're bringing that up because I am worried about the investment markets. Yeah, I agree. The gong show south of the border ends in a week. Well, maybe it doesn't.
Yeah, really.
Because, the uncertainty is what the investment markets hate. Donald Trump has been all over the map when it comes to economic, especially on the trade front, and China and Canada will be impacted too. He called NAFTA the worst trade agreement ever. So that's one of the scenarios that comes out of this. What's he really going to do when he gets in office? What's he really going to follow through on? But then you've got Hillary Clinton. If she gets elected, I bet big money she's going to be under investigation. They're going to be a special prosecutor from the outset. The stuff that is getting revealed on a daily basis, including today, shows a very clear pattern of paying for play at the State Department. And, you pay us, and we'll get you State Department favors, and we'll go put it into the Clinton Foundation. I think it's just all such a mess there that you'll see a special prosecutor. So, wow, where does that leave us? I mean, that level of uncertainty may be the catalyst that the market is kind of looking for an excuse to go down. This may be it. So I'm just warning investors, be careful. You've got to assess your portfolio. Don't get lazy. Review it, because I think we might be inviting quite a bit of volatility. We're in the sort of calm before the storm.
It's a gong show.
Michael Campbell is the host of Money Talks, and you can catch it Saturdays right here on CKNW. Until next week, Mike, thank you.
We'll be after the presidential election. Wow.
Yes, we'll chat to you next on the first day of the apocalypse.
Yes, thank you. Okay, bye-bye.
Vancouver's News, Vancouver's Talk. This is News Talk 980 CK.